Munich. February 1943. World War II is raging. Adolf Hitler's grip over Germany is absolute. The price of speaking the truth is death. And yet, one girl, just 21 years old, walks into a university with a suitcase full of paper. Not bombs. Not bullets. But words. Her name is Sophie Scholl. And in the next 4 days, she will become one of the greatest symbols of courage in modern history. Sophie wasn't born a rebel. She was raised in southern Germany, the daughter of a mayor. As a child, she joined the Nazi youth programs, just like everyone else. At first, she believed what she was told. But as the years passed, Sophie began to ask questions. Why were Jewish families disappearing from her town? Why were books being banned, music censored, and neighbors arrested in the night? Why were German boys, like her brother Hans, dying for a war that no longer made sense? In 1942, Sophie enrolled at the University of Munich to study biology and philosophy. There, she discovered her brother and his friends had formed a secret resistance group. They called themselves the White Rose. Their mission was dangerous: to expose the truth about Hitler's regime, to speak for the millions who couldn't, to spark resistance with nothing more than words. In hidden rooms, late at night, they typed out leaflets on stolen typewriters. Each page condemned the Nazi crimes, the lies, the killings, the silence. They mailed them across Germany. They placed them in phone booths and university halls. They painted slogans on walls: freedom, down with Hitler. Every leaflet was a death sentence if they were caught. In February 1943, the White Rose believed it was time to act boldly. Germany had just lost at Stalingrad. Confidence in Hitler was cracking. So Sophie and Hans prepared their sixth and most powerful leaflet. On February 18th, they carried it to the University of Munich. As lectures began, they quietly placed stacks of papers in the hallways. Then, Sophie did something impulsive and brave. She walked to the top floor and tossed the remaining papers into the atrium. Like snowflakes, they floated down, a silent protest in a city of fear. But someone saw them. A janitor, loyal to the Nazis, called the Gestapo. Within hours, Sophie and Hans were arrested. Sophie was interrogated by a Gestapo officer named Robert Moore. She denied everything at first. Composed. But when the evidence became undeniable, she admitted her role. Not with fear, but with pride. She refused to name anyone else. She took full responsibility. When Moore offered her a way out, a lighter sentence in exchange for silence, she said, "What we said and wrote is what many people think. They just don't dare to say it out loud." 4 days later, Sophie, Hans, and their friend Christoph Probst were brought to trial. It lasted less than 2 hours. The judge, Roland Freisler, known for his brutality, shouted insults. He sentenced all 3 to death by guillotine. That same afternoon, at 5 p.m., Sophie Scholl was led down the prison hallway. She walked with quiet strength. No blindfold. No last request. Her final words were, "Such a fine, sunny day, and I have to go. But what does my death matter, if through us, thousands of people are awakened and stirred to action?" Moments later, she was gone. Hans and Christoph followed. Their names were almost forgotten. But their words, their leaflets, were smuggled out of Germany. They reached the Allies. Soon, copies of that 6th leaflet were dropped by Allied planes across German towns. Today, Sophie Scholl is remembered not as a victim, but as a voice that rose when millions were silent. She had no army, no weapons, only her conscience. And in the end, that was more powerful than fear.